Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, happy Metal Gear Father's Day for Metal Gear Mondays to you. We're coming at you with something a little special. Sam, who do we have on the podcast today?
Oh God, we got a couple of guests on the show. We have two very special guests this time for the special edition. We've got John Summerfield Jr. and Tim Wright, otherwise known as our fathers. we got our rad dads for the Rad Dad Club.
Exactly. So we did the whole thing over Uber conference line to keep things nice and quick and easy. You know how those dads can be with technology. Not to
don't make fun of them because they'll probably listen to this one.
That's a good point. No, I love both of these men, Tim and John. No shade. We just wanted to keep it easy for you guys. But yeah, we talked to our dads and we thought it'd be super cool to publish this for everybody to hear. So here's to you, dads. Sam, is there anything else we should say before we just dive right into it? I feel like this is just kind of a fun one, right? We just let it ride.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do any of our promo stuff this time. I think just enjoy us talking to our dads. There's not a lot of Metal Gear content, but they do kind of talk back and forth about their time in the Air Force and what have you. So it's a lot of fun. Check it out. Listen, have fun.
My dad throws some deep Metal Gear lore there at the end.
It's out of nowhere.
Completely caught me off guard. I don't think I've even said those words around him, so I don't know how he found out. But
he just knew.
Yeah. So anyway, if you dig this, MetalGearMondays.com, and here it is. Here's the interview. Hey, and one more thing. There's a little bit of phone static on my dad, John, on his end of the line. We correct it kind of on and off throughout, so apologies for when it does appear, and if it gets too intense. We didn't really catch it until it was part of the way in, so please just bear that in mind. Thanks. So Dad, you beat Sam's dad to the punch. So Sam, this is my dad.
Hi, pleasure.
How's it going? What's Sam's dad's name?
Tim.
Yeah, Tim's not here though.
Tim.
Yeah,
not yet.
He's not here yet. Yeah.
Oh, you're playing to be Tim. You're playing like Tim?
No, this is just Sam.
Oh. I thought Sam was playing Tim there for a moment.
This is the role that Sam was born to play.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Play my own father in a documentary about my father.
Well, that's what you guys want to do anyway, right? You're trying to emulate your father? No.
Of course.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Please don't. Please don't. Danger.
Yeah, so Sam's all the way in Seattle, lovely Seattle, Washington.
Okay. Well, my daughter was supposed to go to school out there, and she decided on Boston. So.
Yep, she's in Boston. Or she's going to Boston. When does she go to Boston again, Dad?
August, she's going to move out there, I guess. Start looking for a place anyway.
Very nice.
School called Leslie, something like that, for art therapy.
Nice. Yeah, so Dad, I'm going to 100% ask some goofy questions to get us started here. Have you ever listened to an episode of this podcast?
Yeah, well, today.
Very nice. Which one did you listen to?
Well, no, just the first part of the one where there's a guy named, I don't know, his name was Nemo or something like that. Or his name originally was one thing. And then,
oh, Dino? You talking about Dean?
Dino, yeah, Dean. That's
yeah,
he
was a cool
I listened to the first few moments of that one. That's all.
Nice.
I must admit.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on blast. I was just curious. Yeah.
I think you're doing bad. I don't think my dad listened to any of the our episodes.
Oh, Tim hasn't listened either?
I don't think so.
Oh no.
He's very proud of me, but I don't think he actually listens.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah, I never got involved much with unless it was video gaming either, except I guess to purchase the games. But I remember
he's financially
involved. His first one was it Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega.
Oh yeah.
Purchased it at Naval Air Station, Sigonella.
That was the Game
In the
Gear,
80s.
right, Dad?
Is that what it's called, Game Gear?
Yeah, the little handheld one that you brought home for Christmas. back
Oh, right.
when.
Yeah.
I say
the-
little. Let me add context. The one that's the size of like an 8-inch television.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing I remember most is the sound it made when you turn it on. It always went Sega like that. So I think I had that in my nightmares for quite a while there.
Oh no.
I heard it so often, you know, it's like on and off, on and off.
Yeah, I think it was before I discovered headphones, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trying time in the Summerfield household.
Yeah, I think at the time it would have been the Spompinato household, though, right? We were in Sicily still, I think.
Oh, when we bought it, yeah. It's just when we bought it, we were stationed at San Vito, I believe. San Vito de Normandie near Brindisi.
One thing I guess I never realized, that definitely would have been like a PAL Game Gear. That would have been like a European Game Gear. I don't know if they had like region locks or whatever, but I don't know why I never thought about that.
I don't know why it would be. We bought it on the base at the PX.
Oh, that's
down
right.
at The
It was
BX,
US.
whatever the X is in the Navy base, I can't remember. The exchange, anyway. Navy exchange.
Sam, did you grow up?
Should have been American.
Sam, did you grow up in on Air Force bases as well? I can't remember when your dad got out.
Yeah, kind of. He was my dad was stationed in Luke in Arizona for a while. Went to Lakenheath Heath in England for a while. So we kind of jumped around a little bit. I didn't spend my whole life because I lived with my grandparents for the first, I want to say like 10 or so years of my life, but yeah, I had a taste.
Taste of that
I
red
was
light.
at the sister base to Lakenheath, where Alessio was born, RAF Upper Hayward, which is across part of, well, I guess not too far from Lakenheath, but a couple hours, I guess. So they're considered the sister bases for some reason. I think because we have the same sort of weapons and whatnot. But
oh yeah, pretty sure.
Look at that. Sam and I were linked many years ago.
Yeah, well, they're both pretty stressful bases. So pretty stressful places to be. Yeah.
Which, speaking, I texted my dad, asked him if he was ready, and it gave me, I'm driving, do not disturb.
Oh, no. That's amazing.
I'm hoping he didn't forget.
Is he avoiding?
He might be avoiding. I'm not sure. Might be practicing avoidance here.
Well, I gave serious thought to avoidance myself.
Oh, no. These dads are going to bail.
If I could just take my Kodak and put it on the ground and smash it a few times, I wouldn't have to talk.
Jeez, Dad. I do want to ask, so with this is so weird to me that it's this podcast has been going for like almost 4 years, and it's strictly just like a Metal Gear Solid podcast. Dad, do you have any memory whatsoever of playing that Pizza Hut demo disc with me back in the late 90s?
I kind of got mixed up today, I think, with Kickboxer or something. The one where you're fighting against, doing kickboxing against monsters and stuff. I remember that one well. But I remember Wolfenstein very well.
Nice.
Earthworm Jim and stuff like that. But Metal Gear Solid, I remember, was it Slippery Snake or, no, Stealth Snake and Solid Snake?
Solid Snake, yeah.
There are two snakes or something?
Yeah, Solid Snake, Liquid Snake.
I don't remember much more, to be honest. I remember a submarine or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean that's good.
Some island or something. I don't know.
Yeah, off the Alaskan coast. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's better than I thought I would do. So.
No, it's actually funny. I think you remember more about the game than some of the voice actors we've talked to.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that because they just sort of have their part and they go through them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They may not even ever see the game. I mean, why would they? They're just doing voices, so.
For sure.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's crazy to me that I think it's been like 20-ish. It's been 21 years since that game came out. Feels like
has it been that long?
Wow. Yeah.
like half my lifetime. No, not quite. 2/3 of your lifetime, anyway.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'll be hitting 30 here in October. So, but yeah, it's
You okay? We can, huh?
Just took some time, but here we are at last, at long last. Dad, how? So real quick, I guess I'm gonna. Sam and I will probably do a little bit of an intro at some point, but for all of our listeners at home, which for whatever reason is like an astounding like 3,000 something people a week. My dad, John Summerfield Jr., is ex-Air Force and father of mine. So I wanted to provide a little bit of context because obviously when if Tim hops on, definitely wanted to hear you guys kind of talk about just like your time in the service, because we've got a couple people who listen to this show who either were Army or are ex-military or what have you. And so I don't know. It's interesting that obviously Sam and I never joined the armed forces, but some of that kind of bled into our lives or whatever. But yeah,
that's right. It's not for everybody.
For sure. Just so I don't completely get it wrong, what did you do whenever you were in the Air Force, Dad?
Well, I worked what they call now security forces, but back in the day they called it aerospace security specialist. So I basically humped the back of aircraft late at night to make sure that no one sort of came around, and depending on what kind of base I was on, sometimes was at missile bases and other times at aircraft bases. So just depending on where I was, and I was at a comm base once as well. So the missions are different, and everything you do, the mission directives for each base are completely different. But about half the time I spent in the Air Force, I was working in an office called Pass and Registration, where I issued ID cards, restricted area badges, collected road taxes, made completed driver's licenses for people, did passport applications, dealt with the base commander's office and my commander's office on who could have access and who couldn't onto the base and stuff like that. So for civilian employees and whatnot. So the contract office was involved with that too. So a little bit of paperwork pushing.
First line of defense, kind of.
Well, yeah, that's always important. Yeah. So, and of course, lists of people who are allowed and stuff like that would go to the various gates, and so the sentinels would know, who was allowed on and who wasn't, and whatnot.
So would you say
of course, in the other areas, of restricted areas, that was for people who were mission related. So it's a little bit different than a contractor coming on to paint the wall or something, So, yeah. I can't really talk about mission stuff. I have to kill you. So.
Would you say the difference between like movie and video game military versus real life is that real life is a lot more boring?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I wish, for instance, that we had the communication that the soldiers have in those games. Communication is like the hardest thing to keep going in the field. Field radios are horrible, and I'm pretty sure the Army going into combat today is much more advanced than we were back in the 80s and 90s. But it was pretty rough, especially the Air Force. We had good broadband for the vehicles and whatnot, but if we got off in the field or something, had to use a field radio. That was absolutely horrible. It was not good. So we had to bring the comm guys with us from the communication squadron, and they had to set up big giant antennas and whatnot. Of course, they're tactical antennas, so you're not supposed to be able to see them, but they worked much better. And those guys were cool because they'd always bring out food, real food, instead of MREs. So we'd barter some stuff for real food, But digging foxholes and bugging out and setting up camouflage over the top of our holes and we had the Navy SEALs aggress against us to see if we were dug in good enough and had good noise discipline at night. And of course, they would always cross our barrier and mark not only us but our vehicles with grease pencils, saying that we blew you up. So the Navy SEALs were pretty badass. So we didn't even see them. You know, they just come right through and mark everything up in our camp and be gone. And we didn't see them at all. So, but we got better. They taught us how to get better at finding them and stuff like that. But that's about as, you know, about as much as I can tell you, really. Saying too much. But
that was exciting as about as exciting as it got.
It wasn't very exciting, actually. We just sit in the foxhole and weren't able to smoke, weren't able to talk or do anything. We just were monitoring. We had ground surveillance radar, which is radar that picks up vehicles and walkers, and we had made miles on the base. It was a different kind of system that would pick up people much more efficiently near the priority resources, but out in the field, it was just like a little thing you put in your foxhole with you that went back and forth like radar, you know. So
That's crazy.
But playing with that was fun. But other than that, yeah.
Are there guys still doing that kind of stuff?
We picked up jackrabbits and all kinds of stuff on it. So, you know, nuisance alarms were very famous, of course. But
are there folks still doing that kind of stuff, or is it like, has it been obsoleted by equipment at this point?
I haven't really kept up with it much, but I'm sure that there's something better than ground surveillance radar now. But there'd have to be, you know, something better. I'm sure. We of course plant things in the ground too. As people get closer to our foxhole, we could pick them up as they're walking as well. So I forgot what that was. I think that was called. It's a form of made miles as well, but I can't remember exactly what it was called.
Nice.
It's been a while.
I think we have another visitor here, Sam.
I think we have a second guest joining us. Who's that there that just jumped on?
This is Sam's dad, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
I'm sorry. I was doing something, searching hotels for something, and I lost track of time.
It's all right. We were joking that our dads were going to big league us and not show up for our podcast.
Well, we felt big leagues right now because we know nothing about your show or your game or anything. So I feel like it's revenge. My son's getting back at me after all these years.
Oh no.
So, Dad, I don't know if you've actually had the opportunity to speak with Alessio. So we're on with Alessio and his dad, John.
Hey,
no.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
It's nice to talk to you. I don't know if you know this. I've known your son for a decade, almost completely over the internet.
Oh, yeah. He told me he speaks very highly of you.
Oh, that's very nice. Thanks, Sam.
Well, you know. But yeah, no, we were just talking about John's history in the Air Force because both of you were Air Force proud.
Yep.
But I wanted to first I wanted to ask you, Dad. Do you recall that Pizza Hut demo disc that we would mess with?
Yes. Wasn't there more than one of them?
Well, there were a couple different ones. There was the one that had Metal Gear Solid on it, and we would play that on Fridays.
Yes, that was every Friday. We'd have pizza every Friday. Have pizza every Friday. And yes, one of the games we would play.
That's awesome.
Because what we would do, we would go to the shopette, and I would get my bubble jug, and then we would get pizza and watch Boy Meets World, and then we would play Metal Gear.
You're painting a very 90s.
What's a bubble jug?
Took the words right from my mouth. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so Bubble Jug is this. It's really kind of a disaster. It's this jar of gum dust that you essentially pour into your mouth, and the spit in your mouth turns it into gum. It's kind of a bad idea, but
Oh wow,
That's the most 90s thing I've ever heard of.
sounds like the Pop Rocks idea. Yeah.
a little bit.
Wasn't
Almost.
so good.
No time. He has a big wad of gum.
Yeah, I would always eat too much of it, and then I would have this like giant like glob of gross bubble gum.
Man.
Yeah, just a day to us, Dad. I think we were living in Gainesville, Florida around the time that this came out, and I'm trying to think of what all was going on. We visited many a ma and pa video store around these times, and I don't know. I remember.
Well, I think I was driving for Pizza Hut for a little bit. Maybe that's when I picked it up. I don't know. But
John Summerfield, the man of many odd jobs.
I did so many jobs after the Air Force, so I think I lost count at like 35 before I went back to school. So they said you didn't have to put it on your resume if you didn't spend more than 90 days there. So I took advantage of that. I would leave it I'd leave it 89th day or whatever. You know. So, yeah.
I always joke that I know more about what my dad did in the Air Force than what he does right now. Because you were a database manager, right? That's what you did in the Air Force.
Maintenance.
Okay. So you were the big.
It's broken up.
You're a little quiet, Dad.
Oh no, Dad. I think I'm getting some weird interference from the 334 number, Dad. I think you might be in a weird static hole. Sweet buddy, good lord. Hold on, let me try this.
Whose phone is that?
That's my dad's. I'm gonna mute it for a second.
Okay.
Sorry
All
about
right.
that.
So yeah. So you were what was that? What was your job title again?
So I was a database manager and a maintenance analyst. So I was more so of a database manager for most of my career. So
Yeah.
once I got to England, that was my main job for most of my Air Force career. So
What did you do before that?
Oh, as a maintenance analyst, it's all the same career.
Gotcha.
It's all the same career, but
Gotcha.
But once I left Luke Air Force Base the first time, I went to England. And, so I was an analyst for about maybe a year, and then I went into database management for the rest of my time. The 3 years I was there, because when we went, remember when we went was '94, because you went over there with me '94, right? And I think you
when I was a baby, yeah.
You left, and you had left in '95. Yeah, '95 I think it was. '94. Yeah, you left sometime.
Yeah, because I would have been 3.
Yeah, So it was 90. So you've been 3. Yeah, so sometime in '95 when you left. So once after that, that's when I went into database management, and I pretty much stayed there. And I pretty much stayed there until I left, and then I ended up back in Arizona. So which was that second.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we got in. That's when I would get you on the Fridays. You would stay the weekend. That's when we got. So,
very nice.
Yeah, that was the height of our
the peak of your power.
Our time.
Let me check in with Mr. Summerfield here to make sure he's not in a static death trap. 1 second. Dad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. For some reason, it was like.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. It was clicking real bad earlier.
Okay. So the data operation, is that communication squadron, or what squadron were you in?
Oh, I was I was a maintenance side house. So I was actually in the maintenance operations squadron.
Oh, okay. EMS.
If you're familiar with CAMS and IMDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I work.
Okay.
for most of the rest of my career on the database management side, and I was for IMDS.
That's cool.
Well,
Very cool.
Getting weird static again.
So that what do you remember about Metal Gear Solid? The plot of Metal Gear Solid.
Well, like I said, I was talking to you earlier, and there's a lot I forgot more. I remember playing. I think I was pretty decent at it, so
yeah,
made it through. We ended up we had the demo disc, and then I ended up.
Yeah.
Did I buy it? Did I buy it or borrow it? Somebody gave it to me.
You wound up buying because I know it's hidden in that closet downstairs in the basement somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Buried treasure.
But I don't know if I bought it or if somebody gave it to me. I think somebody may have gave it to me because I don't remember buying it. Because I think, or maybe that may have been another game. No, I did buy that. Was that on PlayStation? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 2 discs on PlayStation 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking about another game that somebody gave me. I can't remember that was another game. So gosh, it's been so long.
Yeah, well, because you, I credit you. I've several times on the podcast. I've credited you as the reason why I play video games now, because of the time we spent together playing Metal Gear Solid. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it was a good thing. It was fun. It's like Friday and we go out and do other things after that. So that was bonding time that we needed. So we had a.
Yeah, I think in me and my dad's situation, I was sort of the driver, and my dad was sort of in the back seat, being like, "What the hell are they talking about? What's going on?"
Sounds right. Yeah, my brother was big into Atari, but I just never took the video games. I was always outside. He was always, watching TV, doing the Atari or whatever. So I never got involved with video games much. So.
One day, I swear, I'm going to put a VR headset on John Summerfield and see how he reacts.
I actually tried that once. I don't think I had the right system. I think it was just a cheap pair of goggles or whatever, and it just wasn't right. So if you give me something decent, maybe I'd like it. I did in the Air Force. I did do the flight simulator. That was pretty cool in the Air Force. So that was neat. Do you ever get to do that, Tim? The flight simulator on the flight line?
Oh, I've never been in one. I've seen it, and I've never got to sit in one.
Yeah.
I just see it during.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. I was trying to be the best airman I could so I could get an incentive flight and ride in a jet with one of the pilots, but never could make it. Several of the cops got to, but I did make it to the simulator. So.
Most of the people in my squadron that got them were basically the airmen at quarter, and whatnot. So but we wouldn't. I've gotten airmen in a month. Squadron level, and then you go up to the group level. Those were the people that would end up getting them. Were the people that won at the group level. So
yeah, I had a friend who worked in the weather squadron, so he kind of hooked me up. So
look at these Air Force boys.
Look at these boys talking shop about the Air Force.
I can tell you anything as far as components and anything on those jets and everything else, because I know all the OT6s and everything else, and working with IMDS cams and everything else. I know working at codes, equipment designators, everything. But it's like, I've never flown in one. That would be my biggest regret. So
yeah.
Yeah, I actually now I guess my big thing is filmmaking and media stuff. But I think before that, I don't know if I've ever really been super public about this on this podcast, but I wanted to be a pilot. So, yeah. So
I thought you wanted to be an astronaut. Forever an astronaut.
Hey, they're kind of in the same boat, I guess. But yeah,
they're in the same field.
In the same stratosphere.
Somewhat, you have to be an astronaut to fly a C-5 Galaxy. I do believe you have to be a major, and because they're like 7 stories off the ground or something like that. So you got to know a little bit more about flying than you normally would to fly one of those towers.
That's crazy.
That's probably the coolest. That's the coolest plane in the Air Force that I ever worked around was a C-5 Galaxy.
I've flown in one of those. Okay, I've never been flown in a fighter, but I have flown in a C-5, and that that was one boy come back off of deployment. So those things are huge. But you know what? They're so loud. But the funny thing about you put the earplugs in, and you can go right to sleep. You put those seats all the way back, and you just sleep.
Yeah.
Which is easier because you can't sleep in a commercial plane for sure.
I slept better in a C-5 than I've ever did on a commercial flight. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, walking across the back of them is not too fun though, because whether you're wearing earplugs or not, it still ruins your hearing. Today, my wife will call me 5 times before I hear her sometimes, so I need to get that checked out maybe. Or not.
Yeah, who knows if that's selective or...
You apply disability for your hearing?
No, I haven't applied for disability for anything. I got some nerve damage in the hand too, but I don't know, I just never have. Not a big deal. I've got good medical now. If there's ever a point where I need it, I might, I'm sure they'll take care of me because I put 10 years in, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, I'm gonna throw the mute back on because Dad sounds like he entered Tron in the middle of that.
I didn't hear what he just said. So
yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Dad, I'm gonna leave you on mute for 2 seconds just so we don't have like a ton of static. I don't know where you're at right now, but yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember why I ceased the pilot dream. Now as an adult, I'm sure I'd be way too anxious to fly an airplane.
Yeah,
I'm sure my awful eyesight has something to do with it too. But
yeah, you have to have You have to have 20/20 perfect vision to be able to. Like, you can't even get LASIK and be able to do it these days.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have the best eyesight anymore. Well, Sam knows that. So I've been wearing. I've been wearing glasses since I came in the military. I think it was first thing they did, they checked my vision, says you need glasses, which was probably about right because before I came in the military I was 21, so when I come in and they did all the eye tests and everything else, and they said you need glasses. Like when I did get glasses, like, oh wow, that was I can see so much better. So I went through probably my end of my high school year up to age 21, where I probably just didn't care. So
right. I think that was about the same age that I can't remember why I went to the eye doctor. I guess because it had been so damn long. And I go in there and they check my eyes and I'm like, oh. And they put glasses on me and I'm like, the whole world feels different. Like, what is this? Is this what real life feels like?
Yes. And then the ones so they gave us glasses, which at that time were they call them birth control. So our Air Force were either thick black rims or thick brown rims. Okay, so it's like I wore those for a while. I think it was probably maybe about 2 to 3 years after I started wearing glasses in the Air Force where I actually went and paid for a pair of glasses because
wow.
Because I was an airman, I just want to save my money and everything else, or spend my money on other things, going out and partying and everything else at that point.
Right.
I'd go out and I'm still not wearing my glasses. I was still not wearing my glasses, so I think it was probably about 3 years later when I finally bought me my own pair of glasses, some nice looking glasses.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some nice looking glasses.
Yeah, because I've seen some pictures of you wearing those old ones, and you look goofy.
Yeah, very much so.
Amazing.
Because I remember I got glasses. I think when I was I think when I first went to when I first moved from Arizona to live with you, I think is when I got my first pair of glasses. and I had like round Harry Potter glasses for most of my childhood.
I remember, yep, that's right. Because you were having trouble your vision issues. So we took you to the eye doctor, and there you go. So, or was that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I didn't have glasses when I was in the fourth grade before I moved.
No, you didn't get glasses till we got to England, wasn't it?
No, I had
that
them.
Explains the Harry Potter
at
frame.
Fairborn.
What's that?
Yeah, no, I had them when I was at Fairborn.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Goodness, see, time's going by so fast.
let me check in on Robo John 1 second.
Robo John.
Dad, you still there? Oh, you still there?
Hello?
Hey, I hear the static before I hear your voice. It's weird. There's like a weird sound on your end.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about augmentation? It'd be easier to talk to you if I had augmentation, right?
Oh no.
No.
I could see you on a screen.
Getting into some Deus Ex cyberpunk.
Tell you what, the military could sure use augmentation.
I'm sure. I'm sure the military, like 40 years from now, is going to look completely different than it does today. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, it already looks completely different than it did when I joined. So.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, no doubt.
And that's then, while we're on that, that's one of the reasons I did get out when I did. Well, a couple reasons. Sam knows, about his.
Yeah.
But one of the other reasons was it just wasn't the same anymore. And it's just, I think once I made rank and everything else, I had a great assignment my last assignment because I had I had a bunch of nice troops. I was running the office at that point, but it was time for me to go, and I knew it was going to be that time before I even headed back to England for that last time. So, but things changed.
Because you were in for 20 years, John. How long were you in for?
Just 10. They tried to send me to Omaha, Nebraska, where there's a load of brass and a very, very stressful mission and negative 30-degree winters, and I said, no, I don't think so, because I just spent 8 years. I spent 8 years in Europe, and I just decided to get out and remodel my life, and that's why I teach writing at the university level now. Just got away from the military altogether. So
yeah,
people laugh at me. They call me the ex-cop poet, so they don't take me seriously with my poetry because I used to be in the military. I guess I'm not one of those peace-loving kind of guys that you normally see as a poet. So it's kind of hard to.
Hey man,
persona,
I feel like the warrior poet is definitely like an archetype, right?
Yeah. If I had been to war, I mean, I could be like a Wilfred Owen, but I never went to war. Not that it's a bad thing. I never went to war. I'm kind of happy I never went to war, but my unit was in Turkey during the first Gulf War. I just never got sent. I was in the troop hospital at Calversfield in England, which was the second troop hospital during the war, and thankfully we never received any airmen or soldiers or Navy guys that were hurt because the war didn't last very long.
So when were you? What years were you in between?
I was in from 84 to 94.
Okay, yeah, because I went in 88.
Yeah, he says you were at Lakenheath. I was at RAF Upper Hayford, so those are sister bases, right? We had pretty much the same mission with. Did you guys have F-111s and EF-111s?
They had 111. They got rid of 111s before I got there. It was F-15s.
Oh, you guys had 15s. Okay.
When were you?
But you had special weapons there, right? Specials. You guys have specials there.
What do you mean? As far as are you talking about? You said? What are you talking about special? Are you talking about like sniper pods and all that good stuff, or what?
Talk about things that go boom and create mushroom clouds.
Oh no.
Well, I can either confirm or deny that.
Well, I actually learned on the learning channel about my mission there and the mission at Comiso. So if it's on TV, I'm pretty sure we can talk about it.
Sam probably didn't remember that. Well, he might have seen it the next time, but out on the north side of that base, yeah, we had a bunch of bunkers out there that nobody really knew what was in them. So
Yeah. I think the SR-71 was at Lake and Heath, wasn't it?
It wasn't state. It wasn't based. It was. It had been through there. It has been through there. I think that was what space was that.
Right. Well, didn't they take an astronaut to fly those too?
Yeah.
SR-71. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Sam, do you have any idea what they're talking about?
Hey, these guys need to interview Army guys for Metal Gear Solid type stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure when we run out of voice actors and like video game developers, I'm sure we can work through that.
I can hook you up with some. I hook you up with some guys from Benning that I teach.
Back we don't do what the Army did. Well, back in the day, especially the Air Force was, we were the joke of, we were the smart ones. Okay.
Well, they sure enjoyed our dining facilities a lot better than their own. That's for sure.
Yeah. My brother was a Marine, and my brother was a Marine, and he was based out in California. So he's based out in El Toro, Marine Corps Station. So I would go out and visit. He was married. And he lived off base. But I would go and visit, so I got along with all of his buddies, quite a bit. So I would drive out to. I was out in Arizona, so I'd drive out there to Tustin, Orange County, where my brother was. And his friends would be waiting for me to get out there because they want to go out and party with me and everything else. So my brother, he didn't, he was a homebody at that point. So they would be waiting for me to get out there. They lived in a dorm. Their dorms were like four people to a room, and it was just they were just so compacted in there. And whereas
more like a barracks. That's a barracks, right? Yeah.
They had their room. They had their room, but they just had 4 people in them. Okay, they weren't barrack style. They weren't barrack style at that point. But they were just in there. And I don't, the dorms were small. Our dorms, I had, we shared a bathroom with the room next to us. Okay, in the middle there was doorways between both of them. Everything else, But we had swimming pools and sidewalks and everything on base, man. Yeah.
Sprinkler system.
Sidewalk.
9 yards, man. Yeah.
Hey,
it was better than walking down the street in L.A., man.
I don't want to throw this out there just as a goofy thing, but Dad, didn't you have a brother who was a Marine as well?
2 brothers that were Marines. Actually, they're still Marines. Once you're a Marine, you never stop being a Marine.
Hoorah!
My brother Mike was in a recon unit, and my brother David was a cop. And my brother David works for a federal prison now, and my brother Mike is a manager of environmental services at a VA hospital. So they haven't really left the the government service. They're definitely true heroes. My heroes, yeah. They were always tougher than me. As kids, they would eat tobacco hornworms for $5 and stuff like that, Crazy stuff. That's the kind of people that go in the Marine Corps, So the ones that take dares and stuff like that.
Brother got out after the first Gulf War. He got messed up in all that Gulf War syndrome and everything else. So, but he was.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Certainly happens. They got all kinds of drugs for that stuff, right? It's supposed to be what cures them, the drugs.
He was never able to go back to work. They had to medically retire him. He had memory loss issues and everything else. So he passed in end of November. He had pancreatic cancer. But what they're saying
Oh wow, sorry to hear that.
they're saying is that there's at least a 50% chance that what he went through in that first Gulf War messed him up and may have caused that. So, that's
Yeah, I don't want to get into the personal things about my brother, but yeah, there could be a great possibility about that, and I don't really want to talk about what he's gone through. But yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, man. The reality of it all, I think, is a little less glamorous, but
than the video games,
for sure. Well, it's definitely not something that we shy away from too, because I think, I mean, like on its surface, right? Like Metal Gear is like this war game, but at the same time, there is definitely like really anti-war messages in the games when you kind of get a little bit deeper into it. So it does create like a weird, be careful what you pretend to be kind of situation. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think we hear a little bit of both, sort of the glamour and the less glamour whenever we talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't really care about cyborgs and all that kind of stuff coming, but Elon Musk says there is a great danger in artificial intelligence. But I do believe that if they start fighting wars for us, that we'll have less of this kind of stuff, mental fatigue on human beings. But what other implications are there, you know?
For sure.
With cyborg soldiers, which are a great possibility at this point.
Oh yeah.
With the drone pilots, though, they're suffering psychological issues right now.
Well, yeah, because they drop stuff on people. Yeah, sure. So anytime you have to kill someone, I mean, it's not easy, no matter how you do it.
Yeah, especially with them being that far away from it, you know. So they're out of danger. They think about like, gosh, I just did this. I just wiped these people.
Yeah, it's definitely like that's a little bit of a more dangerous video game, but definitely it sort of has that weird, I don't know.
Well, that weird disconnect that it has, like when you're pulling a trigger from that far away, it's very easy to disconnect from it, and that's kind of dangerous.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, nice. On that super happy note, I just wanted to say, we'll
start worrying about how the cyborgs are not doing well, and they have to have their emotions thought about and all this kind of stuff. You know?
Oh man, I cannot wait for like the Woody Allen-esque cyborg therapist office.
Giant carrots and whatnot.
But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say happy Father's Day to both of you guys. Thanks for jumping on for this very random idea that Sam and I had last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
This was born last night? Oh,
yeah, this idea to talk to you guys is definitely very...
I was somewhere and I get a call. I was like, oh, Alessio's call. Let me see what it is. He was, hey, do you want to call our dads and do a podcast? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, he told me this morning. He's like, oh, okay. I guess so. I remember. Yeah.
Well, thanks for putting us on the greasy spot.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. That's what we're here for. Listen, we may be older, but we still got to keep you on your toes, you know.
Of course. Who would we be if we did not?
I think you guys have done a great thing. I mean, I haven't listened to too many shows, but I do. I look at how many there are on YouTube, and I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty good. I mean, you guys have done quite a few, so that's pretty impressive. Just want to throw that out there.
Thank you, man.
So
appreciate that.
And it's very professional too. The one I listened to sounded very professional. The bit that I promise. I'm raising my right hand right now. I do solemnly swear that I will listen to more shows and check it out.
You should go back and listen to the Cam Clark episode. We talked to He-Man himself. You should listen to that.
Yeah, I don't want to let your mom listen though, because she might be a little upset about your potty mouth. But
oh no, forgot. Yeah, technically it is an explicit podcast, so I apologize for my foul language.
Is it that one only? Okay, that's good.
No, I think in general I just kind of throw that tag on all of them. I'm prone to. Sam and I are prone to being some sweary kids sometimes by accident.
Outbursts.
It's the passion.
I guess it's okay in Seattle. I don't know about St. Louis.
Yeah, Seattle's fine. In Seattle, I think.
Nice.
No, the couple times that I've accidentally swore while I was on the phone with my dad, it's been fun.
we'll sit here fight. If I have, I might say occasionally say a cuss word to him. He says I don't sound right when I cuss.
You don't. You really don't.
Well, if it makes you guys
what
feel...
I hate is the movies where the curse words are just gratuitous and they just throw them out there just because, and they have no meaning or purpose. You know.
For sure.
I don't like that. I mean, if Tommy Lee Jones cusses, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I will say this, and I am sure my dad will not be surprised by this at all. You know who doesn't cuss on this show? Isaac Lim has not said a single swear word in 4 years on this podcast.
I don't think Isaac Lim has ever said a curse word, has he?
I've heard him twice in the 17 years that I've known him.
Okay, well, good man. Good man.
I make a wish when that happens because it doesn't happen often.
I'm sure his mother is proud.
That's the best comeback.
No, yours is too blue.
No. Well, thank you guys. Tim, it was a pleasure meeting you, sir.
You too.
Yes, sir. Tim, nice to talk to you.
Likewise. And I'll be.
I would say Semper Fi, but we don't have. What do we say? Aim high. Aim high.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
so lackadaisical.
Before I leave, that'll be the other thing too. My brothers, he would say, "Yeah, well, you guys got aim high." It's like, yeah. It is what it is. We're the babies, so.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's all good. We're all part of the same team, and they would totally agree with that. So.
Oh yeah, you know, yeah.
I love it.
Hey, before we go, Dad. Before
Yeah.
we go, Dad, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So we have this thing that we do at the end of our episodes where we talk about we meander to. Oh no, that was me. That's Sam. Where we talk. Where we meander our way to our outro, which is us eventually saying, "It's just a box." So, both of you, will both of you give us your best? It's just a box.
It's just a box.
What's the purpose of this?
Tim, that was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
No. Dad, you're fine. The purpose is that when people see Solid making a cardboard box in Metal Gear, they exclaim, "It's just a box." And for some reason, that's been our closer. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it. It's just a box.
I love it.
That was Isaac Lim-esque in its delivery.
And that was very Isaac.
That was because of the guy. That was because of the guy that they based the face model on for Snake. What's his name? The guy from Deer Hunter. The guy from.
Whoa, John Summerfield coming in with the pro trivia.
Did you hear that? I threw that out there, didn't I? Yeah. All right.
Beautiful.
What's his name?
Actually, just dropped on the floor.
Christopher Walken.
Yep.
He's the man.
I love it.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, it's a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Happy Father's Day,
All right,
2019.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, happy Father's. Well, you're a father too. You got your pup. Happy Father's Day.
Oh,
man.
Jerry? Oh yeah, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, he's a handful, man. I mean, he's a loving handful. He's a loving handful, but he's a handful. So.
He's a good boy.
Oh yeah. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
And nice to finally talk to your friend out in Seattle. I don't think I'd ever spoken to him before. So nice talking to you as well.
It was a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
You guys take care. Right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.